John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum is an action film and stars Keanu Reeves. And the film follows John Wick on the run from assassins dead set on hunting him down. So, I loved this. This was simply awesome. But before I start praising the hell out of this movie, there were a few things that kind of irritated me, so I'll be getting into those right now. Also, before I continue, this is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the film, leave this video and come back later. So yeah, there are only a few things that didn't sit well with me. Firstly, like John Wick Chapter 2, this film has some very slow sections, and these segments often made the film drag. And just like Chapter 2, I wasn't huge on Lawrence Fishburne in this movie. Here in Chapter 3, he contributes next to nothing. It's almost like he didn't need to be in the film. The film also lacked a clear villain. The only bad guys in the film are really side villains, or minions to the bigger villains who we never see. I also wasn't sold on the ending of this film. As it's been heavily promoted, this film is supposed to be the final chapter in the John Wick trilogy, and yet things still feel unresolved. They made it seem like there's going to be another one, because it raises the question, does John Wick want revenge? But honestly, what should have been the final shot of the movie is his dog running after him. Like, that would have been a much clearer ending. Like, he's presumed dead, but yet he's still alive, like Jason Bourne. That's the ending I would have preferred. Some people may not have an issue with this ending, but for me, I just wish it was done better and, you know, we got a proper conclusion. But yeah, that's pretty much all the issues I had with the movie. Everything else was superb. First and foremost, the action scenes were glorious. And without sugarcoating it, these are the best action scenes in the entire franchise. Holy shit, this was insane. This is one of the most brutal films I've seen in ages. The violence is almost on the same level as The Raid. There were a lot of deaths that made me react like, oh shit. And these deaths were gory, over the top, and fun to watch. The ways that John Wick killed people in this movie were some of the most creative I've ever seen on film. I also liked the world building in this film, because they definitely explain more of what the Continental is and where John Wick was raised and trained. Another thing that stands out about this film is it is visually gorgeous. A lot of where the action set pieces took place were visual treats to look at, and credit to the cinematography for showing as much detail as they could show, especially with the violence in every little gory detail. Also, while I said the film does hit the brakes to slow the film down, in the scenes where John Wick is on the run or fighting someone, the film became absolutely relentless. There was not one moment where I could take a breath during these scenes. And just when I thought an action scene was coming to an end, it keeps going and going and going. It almost never ends. Overall, despite a few pointless characters and an ending that I feel like didn't give us proper closure, there is still too much to like about this film. From the action scenes to the cinematography, to the visual and production design of the film, and especially Keanu Reeves, who kills it as John Wick once again and for the final time. And here's what makes this so tough for me. I liked John Wick Chapter 3, but for me, I still thought Chapter 2 was the better film. While the action scenes were so much better in John Wick 3, I have to be honest, the story was a bit better in John Wick 2. And Chapter 2 was more of a tightly contained film. And I'm not saying Chapter 3 isn't, it's just that Chapter 2 did things that impressed me more than Chapter 3 did. But I'm still going to say that as of this recording, John Wick Chapter 3 is my favorite film of 2019. And for a year that continues to not have great movies, this film is a breath of fresh air, and I'm going to give John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my channel below. As always, I'm NETX5. Thank you for watching.